Welcome to A Taste of AZ podcast. On today's episode, we sit down with some of the folks from Phoenix Magazine as we discuss their upcoming event, Phoenix Dish Fest. They also have a series of tasting dinners leading into Phoenix Dish Fest, but if you don't make it to those, make sure to head to the festival where you can try samples from some of the Valley's top food and beverage producers. We also bring on some of the producers that will be at the festival today, so listen in to hear what's in store at their booths. Head to phoenixmag.com to get your tickets, and let's jump into the podcast.
We are here. Huge shout out to Catalyst Crafted Ales and Salt for letting us record at their beautiful facility.
And giving us some beer to taste.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks for
I got the tiny one.
You did.
The
How'd that happen?
child-sized beer.
I think you got a different beer, maybe.
Yeah, that is the
Cold IPA.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm drinking the pale ale. That's the cold IPA that I'm supposed to be drinking.
But what happened?
It's out of my reach.
Out?
I'll get it.
You'll get it.
We'll get it.
We'll get there. Johan and Amanda from Phoenix Magazine, thank you guys for joining the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
We've been huge fans of Johan for quite a long time, and this is our first time meeting you, and you are a pleasure as well. So, this is exciting. We've got your magazine out here. We're going to talk about Dish Fest, which I think it was last year that we went to that. Mm-hmm. Time just goes so fast. I'm like, was it 2 years ago? But no, it was last year. It was incredible. So we're going to talk about that. But first, once again, shout out to Catalyst and Salt for letting us record here. They're going to be there, right? Both?
Yeah,
Yes.
Catalyst and Salt will be there side by side at the event. Salt will be serving their octopus tacos, which are legendary, which you'll get to try hopefully here soon. Yes. And then Catalyst will be pouring some special beers that'll pair really nicely with Salt. So there'll be kind of a little double feature there at the event.
I like it.
Yeah.
I dig it. And Salt actually, we'll bring Chef Enrique on at some point to explain, but it's an acronym for Sand and
Land.
Sea and land.
Sea and land.
Sand and
I did the same thing earlier, yeah. Sea and land tacos.
Sea and land tacos. I like that. I like that. Well, all right. So let's meet you guys officially. Amanda, what do you do with Phoenix Magazine?
So I am the events and marketing manager at Phoenix Magazine and Phoenix Home and Garden.
Okay. Nice.
So I am Johan's right-hand gal. I have I started in October. October 16th and October 19th was the beer festival. 21st was the beer festival. So
oh, wow.
It's been a little bit of a trial by fire since I started, but it's been awesome. Yeah.
Nice.
I love it.
What's it like working with this guy?
Oh, God.
It's a nightmare. No, it's great. It's great. I'm learning
That's
a
fair.
ton about beer.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
yeah. That is.
See,
Phoenix.
Amanda brings an interesting or a much needed piece of experience to our events team because she comes from like the hotel corporate event side, whereas I come from like the consumer festival event side, and so there's a marriage between those two that is important to understand. And I have learned a lot about working with hotels and working with like larger contracts and stuff, whereas she's learned a lot about managing vendors for a food festival and a beer festival and some of these other more kind of consumer-facing marketing strategies and stuff like that. So it's been a good team that we've been able to build. And for me, prior to Amanda joining, I was basically a one-man team. Yeah. Put on all of Phoenix Magazine's event for 2 years, and I was getting close to burnout, and I've been able to find find the joy of it all. Because
Nice.
I've had more bandwidth, I've been able to focus more on marketing, which is a larger piece of what I should be doing, and so it's been really helpful.
It's been a fun collaboration too, I think.
Yeah.
What's some of the fun things? Like, what are some of the just seeing this guy and date? I like to mess with him. I like to talk crap on him, but the dude's awesome. Like, he does such a great job. I'm sure he brings fun and joy to the job.
Oh, for
almost
sure.
daily, 5 out of 6
I don't
days
know
a
what
week.
we're doing here. It's just like a
Pick on Johan hour.
yeah. What do you think of working with Johan? What do you think of you?
This is your review. This is your annual review, actually.
That's okay.
No, so part of my background with hotels is also I work with a lot of like restaurants and wineries.
Nice.
So that's been really fun to have that background, and then working with I haven't had a lot of experience working with breweries, and so that's been my like biggest learning curve. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the more consumer facing events where zip ties are a huge factor of what I need to bring with me, and yeah.
It's gotta have zip ties.
Yeah.
In the trenches, right? Like that's
Yeah.
is
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of what the specialty is for you, Johan? Is like the in the trenches, like
Yeah, so when I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're working with like a corporate event at a hotel, for instance, like you have a large staff base, you have a catering department, you have all these different like departments that are supporting the event.
Existing liquor licenses.
Exactly, and that like is you probably have like a maintenance crew and like all this stuff, so you don't have to like you're more of like this. The person like playing the chessboard.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're working like a food festival or a beer festival, and you guys probably know this at this point, you're less of the person playing the chessboard, and you're more of like, you remember in the first Harry Potter when they're like in the chess game, and they're like, and Ron is like riding the huge knight, and he's like running the game, but he's in it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like you're in it, and like if a banner's falling down, like you got to put it back up, because
Yeah.
if you try to go find the person to do it, you're gonna spend too much time. So you got to have the zip ties to put the banner back up, and then now you got to cut a banner down. You better have those like wire cutters to cut the zip ties, and then like the duct tape and like all this. You just have to have it all ready to go.
Yeah.
Because you're just like you're the person putting the fires out.
Yeah.
And so it's just a different. I think it's different. I feel like hotel events are more like of a controlled environment.
Sure.
Whereas if you're on a field in the middle of a venue and you're just like you just have to like
Figure it out.
scrap it together.
Yeah. Well, and I would say in this industry specifically, they appreciate and they respect that, right? Because that's what they're doing, right? Like when Will's setting up he doesn't have his PR team and his marketing team and this is our logistics team. No, he's all of those things, right? Him and his crew. So that's what I've always liked about food and beverage is it's very blue collar. It's very the people that are, if there's a leak, you're the plumber, right? You're not gonna you don't have
We're
the
all
luxury.
scrappy.
Yeah, I like it.
Hey, I'm happy to turn in my suits and throw on my Vans instead. Trust me.
But the suits are helpful though too, right? that otherwise, that's why life expectancy of a blue collar worker 50 years ago was 32 years old, right? I made all that up, all those numbers.
Now
yeah,
it's 35.
yeah. But no, I'm Luke, my business partner, and I are both huge fans of Phoenix Magazine and of you guys as people too. I mean, we've met Craig. We got Matt over there. I don't know what the hell he's doing right now, but what's up, buddy? No, you guys are great. You guys do a really great job. And this, what year is this with DishFest?
This will be year 3.
Year 3. Okay. So what's happening this year? Is it at the
Clayton House?
Clayton House again? Great place. It's a great venue.
It's at the Clayton House
Yeah,
on March
nice.
17th. I would say one of the biggest differences this year is I think we're expecting to expand the number of vendors that we're having this year, especially in our VIP area. So making that more of an enhanced experience. We're going to be doing some chef demonstrations. That's new for this year.
Nice.
A couple of the chefs that we have lined up for that so far are Chef Jenny from the Joy Bus, our charity partner, and then Chef Sammy DeMarco from Wefton Warp. He's their new star chef. So we have a couple more in the works. So we'll get that out there. Yeah. And then leading up to Dish Fest, also a new addition we're doing is our chef dinner experiences.
Okay.
So these are like one-on-one, very intimate, 20 to 30 people we have one at Francine on March 12th. One
Their new chef.
with their new chef, Chef Remy.
Okay.
And then it's 5 courses, wine pairings, cocktail pairings, and he'll be in there in the room with you. So that's really special. And then we have Wefton Warp on March 13th.
Only 18 people to that.
Only
one.
18
So
people.
real small,
Ooh, wow.
real intimate.
That is on the 13th, not the 14th.
Correct.
13th
Yeah,
with-
Francine's the 12th. Wefton Warp's the 13th.
And then third one is on the 14th. And that's a really cool progressive dinner. It's over at Tia Carmen and Kambara at the JW Marriott Desert Ridge. It's like a progressive dinner, 2 courses at Tia Carmen and 2 courses at Kambara. So you get to have both experiences.
Nice.
I had the pleasure of meeting Chef
Angelo
Sosa
Yeah.
and Chef Brian Gorton from the hotel this week. And we're just so excited.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, so that's kind of a new thing that we're adding, so almost to lead up to Dish Fest is these chef dinners, and they're beverage pairings included, multiple courses, demonstrations by the chef. So it's really intimate and really cool.
Yeah, I dig it. Well, and I just met Sammy D, Chef Sammy D.
He's a cool guy.
Oh, he's
Dude's
so cool.
a character.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Big personality.
Yeah. And then you look him up and you're like, oh, dude, this guy is like,
Yeah.
he's the real deal. Yeah.
So this guy opened his first restaurant in New York City, which that in and of itself is a feat.
Sure.
And then he got named the chef of chefs in New York City, which is ridiculous considering the chefs that are. And he was also the, what do they call him? The master of comfort food in New York City, which again, another feat. And
Master
then he
of
was
anything in New York City, right? Like,
Yeah.
And then he was the co-host of a show on the Travel Channel called Chow Masters. A lot of personality. A guy was on TV, so he knows what it's like to be out in front of a camera and to be a big personality. And
Put on a show.
Now he's in Phoenix, and we love having him here. So.
Yeah. And he was at the Taste of AZ, which is awesome.
Yeah. Made some.
That
they made
dessert.
Those old
That
fashioned and the chocolate cake. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was a passion fruit chocolate cake.
passion fruit
Yeah.
chocolate
So good.
cake. It was unreal. Yeah.
Weft and Warped desserts have always been really fantastic. They brought a really good dessert to Dish Fest last year, and so I think they're planning on doing like an entree or samples of an entree, a dessert, and a cocktail at Dish Fest this year again.
Nice. I remember last year at Dish Fest, their setup kind of stood out. There was great vendors there, a ton of great vendors, but they had kind of that little corner. They even had like a little typewriter set up, like as they weren't typing. They were just
By their
it was
cocktail
decor.
bar.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
And I loved with Dish Fest when we went. We went through the VIP area first, and that's where it was like Buck and Ryder had the oysters, and Century Grand right away. They were just. I think I was there for like an hour just drinking their drinks. And like, hey, dude, you need to
They're
move
a
on.
clarified pina colada.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah.
Were you there?
I was not there.
Oh,
No.
you were in for a treat this year.
Yes,
Then.
I'm very excited.
Yeah. Will you get to enjoy it though? Like, will you?
Yeah, she will.
Yeah.
I'll do my best.
Yeah.
You'll make sure.
I'll make sure of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Will you enjoy it?
Yes,
Probably.
he will.
For the most part.
There's
Yeah.
more of us now, so we can.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can take shifts.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, so I think we're gonna for kind of break down because there's a couple different options for Dish Fest.
Yeah.
Right. So I assume you have the VIP again this year.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So we have VIP. I think currently it's $115 for VIP tickets, and it's I want to say $70 for general admission tickets. Although those prices do increase on February 24th.
Correct.
So make sure you get your tickets before that.
Get that early bird special.
Yeah. But VIP gets in at 11. They have their own VIP lounge, which will include live music again this year. We have Shimogamo is going to have snow crab and
Wagyu.
Japanese Wagyu and scallops. We're also going to have several wine, some wine vendors in there. We're going to have cocktail vendors in there. We're going to have some more food in there as well. So VIP is going to be, I think, an elevated experience from last year. Then we have our general admissions going to open up at noon. That one is, a large portion of the vendors will obviously be general admission. We have our outdoor sort of beer garden, food truck garden area, which will feature Salt, feature Los Guidi Cafe, which is I believe, Nigerian
yes.
cuisine food truck. And then obviously a lot of our friends in the beer industry. So Catalyst will be there, Wren House will be there, and they're actually bringing food as well. So,
Nice.
Of Bacanora fame, Derek Christensen helped curate the menu at Wren House Food Hall, and so they're going to be bringing food to the event. I believe Derek's actually going to be there as well.
Nice.
So we also have Kitsune that's going to be joining us. We have Huss. We got Four Peaks.
Some local wineries. We have Arizona Stronghold that's going to be there. Pillsbury Wine.
Our cocktail
Don
offerings
Woods.
are going to be really good. Don Woods, Say When,
Yep.
the Womack.
And Beginner's Luck.
Beginner's
The
Luck.
new concept.
I just heard about them today. Yeah.
from Citizens Public House in the Gladly.
Yeah, they took over the Piccolo Virtue place, right?
believe so.
In Scottsdale.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're going to be
Nice.
bringing, I believe, food and cocktail.
Food and cocktails, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Showcasing their new menus.
Shimogamo will have a cocktail offering in the VIP room as well. Ferengi will be back. Ferengi's been there for the last couple of years. If you haven't been to Ferengi, highly recommended. Upscale Indian cuisine.
Yeah. The Italian daughter will be there.
Ooh, nice. Yeah. Oh,
We may have
man.
poached a couple of your vendors from A Taste of AZ.
It's not poaching. It's
We got,
all love.
Yeah, we got
it's
Dwayne
sharing.
from Blue Organic Sodas is going to
Big-
be joining us
Big
as
Marble.
well.
Big
Oh, yeah,
Marble.
that's
Yeah,
right.
Big
Blue
Marble.
Big Marble.
Yeah.
So they'll be there, and then we got Italian daughter to join us as well.
It just
Yeah.
means we both have good taste.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I mean,
pun
look,
intended,
That
but-
that braised
Good-
short rib. Holy bananas.
Good food
yeah.
is good
The
food.
cream sauce.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, is Caldwell County going to be there this year?
They unfortunately are not going to be able to make it this year. I
Man,
think
that
they
just
had
stood out to me last year. Yeah, they were
yeah,
good.
I was gunning for that, but yeah, they're not able to make it. But we have some great other vendors. Obviously the Joy Bus will have food as well. We have Ferengi. We have help me out with some of the other ones.
So
that I'm
one
forgetting
of the
right now.
things that I found really important, and Johan did as well with the magazine, was our January-February issue is called Dine Around the World Without Leaving the Valley.
I like
And
that.
so we've tried really hard to make sure that we had a really global presence, that it wasn't just an American Girl here. It wasn't just bars and grills everywhere. We wanted to
Yeah.
make sure we could showcase, the pierogies and
Yeah.
every. I mean, I
like
just
that
had
you started
pierogies
with
last
pierogies.
night.
I love that.
I mean, I got Casa Corazon will be there.
Yeah. Oh, Quesazon.
Quesazon, or Quesazon.
Quesazon, yep.
Cubanitas.
Yeah. Cubanitas they're closing down their restaurant for the day to be
Yeah.
at Dish Fest.
Wow.
So yeah, and they were all featured in the magazine. Shimogamo was featured in the magazine. So yeah, we're really trying to lean
Kimbara
into all the
will be there. Lincoln
everyone that we've
Steakhouse
featured.
will be there.
Yep.
I have Salsa Bites will be back. They've been there last couple of years. Thank you, Matt. This is really helpful.
The Womack.
like
oh yeah, we've got we got a whole
Teleprompter is-
queue.
yeah.
Taza Bistro.
Oh yeah, Mediterranean food.
I think you got. Yeah.
Yeah,
nice
we got
work,
'em.
buddy.
Thank
Nice
you, Matt.
work.
And then more
Your
surprises
human
coming
teleprompter.
soon. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, awesome. Well, you guys did great. I mean, before Matt's teleprompter, imitation, you guys nailed pretty much all of them. I think.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you just have so many vendors.
Yeah.
You just can't
Yes.
remember them all.
Yeah.
There's just too many.
And then it's usually one
It's
of
like
the
having
ones.
30 children.
Right?
You don't know their
Yeah,
names.
but we're having 50 children this year, not 30. 50.
Sounds horrible. I was done with 2. I was
Yeah.
like, no more. Kids, not vendors. Like I'll have, yeah. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for
Yeah, you
joining,
bet.
talking about this. I'm excited for it. I love that Phoenix Magazine is really kind of putting a highlight on all of the great things that are going on in the stand. I mean, with what we do with the Taste of AZ, there's similarities here and there, but there's so much to cover.
Yeah.
And I love with the team you guys have and the high quality of what you guys do. I love that issue. I always thought that was a really cool idea to kind of highlight,
Yeah.
because I'm not going to go travel the world. Like I'm probably not going to go to like Venezuela and stuff, right? But I want to know what Venezuelan
Totally.
food tastes like,
Yeah.
right? So
And, you know, it is kind of to me, the January-February issue is like that. It's special because it's always focused on dining. When I started, the issue was the 101 best dishes in the Valley, which was sort of the originator of Dish Fest.
Yeah.
101 best dishes, Dish Fest. Then last year it was Dine Around the Country, all 50 states. So
Yeah.
it was like each state has its sort of like signature dish that's represented. And so then this year we went global, and Phoenix Magazine the editorial team there does a really good job of really focusing on local brands. I mean, we do our Best of the Valley event every summer, which is a super fun event. I think you both have attended that. Our beer festival, the Arizona Craft Beer Awards, that is also fully focused on Arizona beer, and so. It's our passion. It's our brand. It's what we love doing. So,
especially
we're
the
really
beer
excited.
for this guy. Right?
Oh man!
We
Don't
won't
get me started, man.
I don't
Don't
think I
get
have
me
enough
started.
room on the memory card for that
No.
conversation
Yeah,
just yet. Well, thank you guys for joining,
thank you.
Amanda. I think we're gonna bring on Will and Enrique.
Yes.
Yep.
And who's staying?
I'll stay.
You'll stay.
I'm going. I'm going to go finish my beer and
Go get yourself a full.
She's
beer.
gonna go keep
I'm
working
getting
on Dish Fest
I'm
while
going to go work on Dish
talk.
Fest
Yeah.
and go get an octopus taco
Ooh,
Yeah.
good thinking.
and maybe a Sonoran hot dog.
There you go.
We'll see.
Just one of everything, please.
Yeah.
A real quick reminder to head to phoenixmag.com to get your tickets to the upcoming Phoenix Dish Fest. There's going to be tons of great samples from some of the top producers in the Valley, so head there now and we'll see you there.
All right, so we're back. We've got some drinks. We had some amazing tacos.
Yeah.
Johan, you were talking these things up, and I will tell you they exceeded how you built them up. Chef Enrique, excellent taco, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I've only had one. I've only had the octopus.
Yep.
Nice.
You have to try the fish and the shrimp as
Dude,
well.
I that's what I do well. I eat and I drink. So, whatever you throw at me, I'm going to
You're like
consume it.
Tyrion Lannister.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You drink and you know things.
That is pretty much, yeah. I eat and drink more than I know, but but no.
But you know where to eat and drink.
I do.
That's important.
That is very important. So yeah, we talked about Dish Fest. These guys are going to be there. We're going to talk about that a little bit, but let's meet the fellas real quick. What is your name and what do you do here?
So my name is Enrique, and I'm the owner of Salt Sea and Land Tacos, and we've been here about 4 months probably.
Yeah.
We started as a food truck 3 years ago, and it's been quite an adventure.
Awesome. And this guy?
I'm Will, beer maker, wort producer over here, and then try and come up with some fun ideas for beers every once in a while. But, just trying to be right with who we are and what we do and make beers that are tasty and clean and fun. And pretty much everything else should fall into place, right?
We should mention that Will is a multi-Arizona Craft Beer Awards medal winner
For sure.
for their beer, for him and Alex's beer.
Yeah, we have a little monopoly over the barrel-aged category, but we're not sad about that at all. We enjoy going to those festivals and stuff. It's really fun. I love the spread. The big meat and cheese plate is always kind of what drives me to those festivals.
Yeah.
But no, we have fun with it, and it's nice to catch up with Saddle Mountain and some of the guys that we don't always get to hang out with. So, shout out to them and a bunch of other people that I can't think of on getting stage fright. But, it's always nice to reconnect with other brewers because then that way you can really kind of feel what the pulse is on the industry.
Yeah. Well, if anybody has listened to the podcast that I had previously, Tapped at AZ, Will was a guest on that multiple times. I remember the first time I met him was in Tucson at the Juicy Brews Fest. And it was when you were with Wren House and you had the Las Frescas.
Yeah, that was my second weekend in Arizona.
Yeah. And your brother was calling, he was like harking people from come over and try these.
Yeah.
And I could tell you were a little embarrassed, but also kind of this is cool. This is cool.
Big brother's always got my back. That's
Isn't your brother's name Johan?
Yes, it is, but he's one end. He's Swedish Johan, not German Johan.
No. We're all.
I was saying, I thought you were born in Mexico.
They're all the same out there. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
German, Mexican.
It all intertwines, right?
Yeah, I call myself an undercover Mexican.
Okay.
Because you couldn't tell.
Beer
looking
name.
at me.
That's another beer name right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your face on the can. Well,
it's the goal. That's the goal. Ultimately,
that's all roads lead to that. Well, guys, congratulations on. I didn't even really to me. So I know, Will, you had Ad Astra up in Prescott, and then you moved operations down here for Catalyst. It seems like Catalyst has been around forever, and then when I was using the bathroom, your grand opening was 3 days ago, right?
Yeah.
so which is congratulations on that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that's been a lot of work to do, and we were having a lot of fun in Prescott, kind of brewing whatever we wanted to and kind of understanding, but the ultimate goal was to come back to Phoenix or Tempe and be in the real competitive marketplace and to bring a little bit of where I come from and a little bit where Enrique comes from to Arizona. I'm Southern California, Orange County, San Diego is kind of where I draw a lot of my inspiration for a lot of the beers that I do. And Enrique has his own inspirations on some of his culinary stuff. So we feel like we're really unique because we're kind of peerless in some senses. We're a very different concept. And if we were pizza and beer, we'd have a lot more people that was kind of the style.
Yeah.
So I think pizza and tacos is kind of, for us, to me, it's comfort food. It's something beer and tacos, not pizza and tacos. Sorry.
I got you, man.
Beer and tacos are something that's a comfort food for me, being, from where I'm from. And a day without beer and tacos is kind of like a day without sunshine, which is kind of what we have today. So.
Luckily, we have beer and tacos out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, no sunshine.
And,
but
and the reason it was so important for me to get connected with these guys and to have them at our food festival is because beer and tacos is my genetic lineage.
Yeah.
German Mexican.
Yeah.
Both
Like
sides.
that is
full circle.
that
once
is
again.
for me it's in my blood, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's why we all get along here.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, so Enrique, tell us a little bit about the backstory of Salt, because you had something before you opened up this spot, right?
Yeah, so I always wanted a restaurant. I grew up, I was born in Chihuahua, Mexico. We don't have an ocean there, but the only time that we were able to eat seafood was when we went to an actual restaurant.
Yeah.
So I learned to learn, how to cook with my grandma and my mom, but they always cooked the basic Mexican food.
Yeah.
So whenever we went to an actual restaurant, my go-to thing was order seafood, because for some reason, I don't know, I just like seafood.
Yeah.
Then I came to the U.S. when I was 10 or 11. And I grew up in El Paso, Texas, which is the border with Juarez. And same thing, I always had a passion for food. I like to eat really good. And that's always been my inspiration, being cooking. And my mom and my grandma taught me how to cook since I was little,
Yeah.
10 or 11. So it's just my passion, It's just I work in a hospitality business. My wife, family have restaurants in El Paso, Texas. Between her aunt and her brother, they have probably about 11 restaurants. They're
nice.
they're separate, but
Yeah.
if you put them all together, they're 11.
Yeah.
And when they started, that's where we started. We helped them with a lot of things and working the restaurant and growing the restaurants. Obviously, a lot of recipes, getting ideas together. So it's always been my passion to cook. And then we moved to Arizona in 1998. I did several things, but my passion was always there. Cooking was my thing, and I'm not scared to try new things. I'm the type of guy that, hey, what if we do this and see what happens? What if we try this and see what happens? I'm not the basic guy that says, oh, well, follow a recipe. No, we like to try different ideas, different things, because you never know what's going to stick, like the octopus.
Yeah. For sure.
Octopus is not easy to make, so we finally got it to the right, point to where people are liking it and they love it now. And that's how our food truck got to get known, because of our octopus.
Nice.
Yeah.
Without giving away any trade secrets, like what makes your octopus? How can you do it as well? Because it was fantastic. Like I had it and I wanted more.
The
Almost
real
took everybody
secret
else's.
it's how you cook it, because it goes by weight. So depending
Okay.
on the if you order a case of octopus, you have to watch the weight, because the cooking time goes by how much it weighs.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
You can't just throw it in there and hope to like come out right. No,
Yeah.
you have to really do the timing and all that based on weight.
Precision.
That's precision.
Yeah.
That's the real secret.
Yeah. Nice. Well,
But octopus is also something that's so like exclusive to like fine dining in a lot of ways, that it's like to find it in a food truck and to find it at the quality, like cooked to the quality and have it taste as good as it does. Like that's to me, that's one of the most exciting sort of trends in like food in general, is this like food truck to brick and mortar, but also like high quality food truck food.
Sure.
Because like food trucks historically have always been kind of like it's street food. It's like
Yeah.
it's it's kind of hit or miss. You might enjoy it and you might regret it.
Yeah.
But I think like this. I think Enrique is a really good example of that trend of like really really high quality food out of a truck, and then that transition into a brick and mortar that a lot of people can't do.
Sure.
And so it's just a testament to his.
One
his
thing about
talent
me
and-
is that I like to be different.
Okay.
When we started the food truck, my wife was against it, because she's like, "There's a lot of food trucks already."
Yeah.
I'm like, "We're gonna be different." And then she's like, "How? Give me a business plan and see how you're gonna be different."
That's a good wife.
I mean, yeah. Every food truck has the carne asada, has the chicken, has the pork.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we're gonna introduce this octopus taco with the fish and the shrimp, and that's the twist that we're gonna give it.
Yeah.
And people did like it, so that's how we got known for our octopus taco.
And he did good, right? Thumbs up from the wife, yeah. Well, and also coming from the being able to experience the restaurant world, like you said, through her family, it gave you the kind of opportunity to say, nah, this is not. But to be able to kind of immerse yourself in it,
Right.
And to me, I think that would kind of clarify the vision
Right.
of like, okay,
Right.
no, this is it.
Right.
This is what I want to do. Yeah.
Well, it also exposes you to all the pitfalls that you could come across, right? And
Sure.
So it kind of prepares you for all the challenges that you might encounter. And I think maybe that is the same thing with Will. Is like you worked for so many different breweries and you saw how things were done, and you saw the how things were done well and how things maybe could have done better, and so that kind of prepares you for going off on your own. I mean, that's the dream, I think, ultimately for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think it's like anything. It's it's like I always equate stuff to football. So it's like being a quarterback coach to running your own offense. You're going to see things a little differently. You're going to have concepts that you really want to emphasize that maybe people aren't doing, or you want to do stuff that's true to what you think your philosophy is. And my philosophy is a lot like Enrique's. Like I definitely don't like being in the crowd. I like to stand out. I really do like to do challenging beers and stuff that's different. So like for example, like the seltzer line, like nobody really has seltzers out here except for like a couple big guys. So I thought like, when we were in Anaheim for the brewery's anniversary invitational in June last year, we noticed that every brewery in Anaheim had a seltzer, had really good multiple lagers, and a lot of West Coast IPAs. So we're like, we feel like maybe we can get ahead of the trend for a change instead of chasing it. So we wanted to kind of do that. And, it's just staying true to yourself and doing the stuff that makes you good is really what me and Enrique like to do, like the freedom of here. It's like we don't get pigeonholed and having to do something that, oh, well, this is popular, so let's do that. It's like, no, if we want to do it, we'll do it, and we'll do it to where the level that we want to do it at.
Yeah.
And I should backpack on that a little bit. I think a lot of people, beer drinkers especially, when they think seltzer, they think White Claw. They think like sort of like a alcoholic LaCroix.
Sure. Yep.
Light flavor, kind of like maybe disappointing if you're used to really bold flavors out of a beer. Will does not fit into that. His seltzers do not fit into that world. His seltzers are full of flavor. He does a lot of like wine-inspired and wine-themed seltzers.
Yeah, a lot of great projects.
Just really, really, really good. So for people who aren't beer drinkers, this is like taking your White Claw and stepping it up. And
I think that's the reason Will and I get along so well, because he doesn't follow a recipe. I mean, to a certain point, but then he'll throw something else in the and see what happens. The same thing with me, I'll follow a recipe to a certain extent, but then I'm like, what if I do this or what if I do that, just to get something new.
Yeah. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Right.
But at least you can try that.
Right. We're not afraid of trying some new things. Like
it
some
takes a
people
level of confidence
Yes.
to do that, and assurance in yourself. And a lot of the things, like Enrique says, to nail that point home, it's like, sometimes we'll have something where we know we want to do it, but we'll do our own little twist on it because we feel that, you make food or you make beer long enough, you're like, I know where this is going. I want to change that a little bit. So, like this, for example, this is our Tempe Mule. So we didn't want it to taste like a White Claw. We want it to taste like a cocktail. So we have lemon and ginger. And so ginger is such a hard thing because, my tolerance for ginger is probably going to be completely different than everyone else's tolerance for ginger because I like very spicy, intense ginger. So I wanted to have that more on the aroma and have more of the lemon and lime and citrus up front. So that's what's so neat about this. And it's getting to spring. This is going to be like a river beer or a river seltzer, So I really like doing stuff like this because you're doing something that no one's really doing, and then you're doing something like a flavor that everyone knows. So you're taking something that's not being used, and then you're taking something that everyone is palatable towards, which is cocktails, huge right now in Phoenix.
Yep.
And then you kind of bridge the gap and come up with something that's a unique product that people can try, and it's not, it's not a White Claw, it's not a Truly, it's not anything like, and it's definitely not a Drecker. So it's kind of in the middle there, where it's not quite slushy and it's not quite burn your throat LaCroix.
Talk to Eric about Drecker.
I like Drecker. Yeah.
Didn't you do a collaboration?
Yeah,
with them?
we did a barrel aged collaboration. That was incredible. I still have 2 bottles hidden somewhere. I think I hid them after I drank a bottle, and that so I don't know where they're at, but they're hidden somewhere in my house. But no, they're slushy, kind of the plop, like they're
Yeah.
It looks gross.
Yeah,
it looks gross.
Like Brucicle or Anser does the Andals, and there's a lot of 450 North. It's become like a really big style since we first met.
Yeah. Yep. Well, dude, this is excellent. This is a great. So the Four Peaks, I don't know if they do it anymore. They had was it the Limon, or there was like a lemon lime seltzer thing.
And they used the agave syrup, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I
it
remember
was
that.
tart. Like it was. I liked it, but it was like you take a drink and you have like a cold sore in your mouth from it.
Yeah.
Wait till you have his key lime.
Oh yeah.
Is that the sour?
Yeah, so we have this
Ooh.
too. So we kind of were showcasing lime out the gate. So this is a really unique and interesting beer, and we kind of came up with the concept for this at the shop. But I really like key lime pie a lot, so I kind of play a couple songs for myself every once in a while. But
Nice.
key lime, vanilla, cinnamon, and coconut. So the coconut is what really gives it the whole crust flavor that a lot of people seem to think that graham crackers or other strange things that you put in beer would do. But for us, we like this because it tastes how it should taste. It's high in alcohol, but it doesn't burn you. It's not too sour. It's not too sweet. It's very balanced would be the word that I would like to use for this beer in particular. But
What is the ABV on it?
it's around 8.6.
So that's pretty high for a sour beer.
Yeah, so it's tough with price points because these beers take a lot of work and a lot of time to make. So you want to make them worth it. So this would be a beer I wouldn't mind drinking one can of and then moving on to something else to kind of get your day started because it's so strong. But I don't know if I could do a 4-pack, which is okay.
like it.
I'm going to take a 4-pack home with me today.
It's a good way to get the day started for sure.
I had the privilege of trying this beer when it was still like right out of the.
It was in the bright
Right out of
tank.
the tank,
Yeah, we
right?
had just gotten done carboning it
A
up.
couple weeks ago, and it big fan.
That's really good, man. That's really. I mean, you turned me on. You specifically, Will, turned me on to good sour beers with a little bit of sweetness to it. Right?
Sours, I think. Sours are tough because I think a lot of people try a sour and they'll try something that's like, very like stomach acidy.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I don't like sours. But like sours done right are a really special kind of beer because you're introducing something that's probably harder to control than yeast, right? You're introducing bacteria into this thing, and it's far harder to control. And so, like, to be able to do a really good sour, I think is like it's a brewing talent that is rare. And like this, to me, delightful, man.
It's so hard because I come from sour brewing initially, so it's a lot of blending and a lot of flavor and a lot of sensory to make a beer like this. Like there's certain things we can't control. The fermentation's kind of just going to do what it's going to do. When we kettle sour it, it's kind of going to do what it's going to do. And then after that, once we have our base, then it's like, okay, where do we go with this? So I knew we were going to do the key lime pie, so we put in over 100 pounds of coconut, toasted and untoasted shredded coconut, and that's what it kind of that finished flavor where it gives you kind of like the body to it, where it hits a little differently, is what I say. And then we used real Madagascar vanilla beans that were very high quality and scraped in house by us, hand processed, and then. The tricky part is getting the cinnamon right because cinnamon is so strong. Every time I have a beer with cinnamon, it seems like it's just overpowering. Like it's over the top. It needs to like kind of age out. So our technique with this is we add a little bit of cinnamon, see where it's at, taste it, add a little bit more until we get to our threshold where we feel like, okay, it's here, but it's not dominating. It's Robin, it's not Batman.
Yeah.
So to balance all the flavors from the tartness, from the sweetness, from the creaminess, from the spice, and then we didn't want to add lactose. I feel like lactose is kind of overdone in sours these days, and so we wanted something where, for those lactose intolerant people, they could still have a slice of key lime pie if they wanted to.
Yeah. Well,
I think that speaks a little bit too to like I think Will and his compadre Alex. They're sort of like I think they're what sets them apart is, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is their background as fermentation and cellar specialists. So they can brew a beer and then take the finished product and then make it even more special.
Sure.
In the processes after the brewing, after the fermentation. And I think that is, there are exceptional brewers, there are exceptional post fermentation people, and I think
Is that an official term?
Will and Alex have been able to sort of bridge that gap and are able to take something and just like bring out the best of it. Through their processes.
I call it blending because you're taking components, whether it be multiple barrel aged beers, or multiple stainless beers, or ingredients, and blending it to get to a taste profile that you want. And it takes a lot of nuance. It takes a lot of restraint and control to do that. I'm really not that good at boiling water or making sugar water. I know that's what everyone thinks is the biggest part. Oh, you got to brew it. And it's like, yeah, well, you do got to brew it, but getting your dissolved oxygen to where you want it for your fermentation, or using the right yeast, or using the right temperature, using the right amount of nutrients, and using the right stuff to get your beer to where you want it. Like if you want a really clean beer, it's not easy to make a beer clean and smooth and taste like nothing. It's actually a lot harder than to make a beer taste like a key lime pie than to make something taste like nothing. So it's all in the fermentation. And it's like me and Alex are both, I always say it's like a closing pitcher. We could go in, and if there's something with the beer that we need to give a little help, steer it, we're really good at that. Now it's just figuring out this boiling water part, which hasn't been too hard. But, and all due respect to all the people out there, there's a million ways to make a beer. It's just, we just do it the way that we like to do it. And a lot of it comes from sensory, and a lot of it comes from tasting, and from tasting, thousands of barrels in our career, and then tasting thousands of beers, from Jackie O, from Lost Abbey, from Green Cheek, from a lot of people that we really respect. That's how we find our, success leaves clues. So we like to go and try other people's beers. I think if you're ever a brewer and you think, oh man, all I drink is my own beer or whatever is available, it's like you're totally missing so many other palates, so many colors on the palate. If you go to New York, they make beer completely different than LA. And if you go to Texas, they make it completely different than Iowa. But all those places have their own little kind of take to the beer scene. So you don't want to ever put your blinders on. And it's even with food. I'm sure Enrique's always out trying new stuff and trying new seafoods, or trying different types of octopus and see what happens, and that's how you really master your craft and really polish it, is trying other people's stuff and understanding how they got there, and understanding how you want to get there and maybe do it a little bit differently.
Yeah, when I started with the octopus, we got octopus from the Philippines, from Vietnam, from everywhere else. Even when we opened here, we got a sample of the Greek octopus, and it was great. But it's a little bit more on the sweet side, so it wasn't appealing to my tacos.
Okay,
and then so I stayed with the Mexican octopus, not because I'm Mexican, but because that's what's giving us what's working for our food.
But it worked good.
But it worked good. Yes.
Yeah. I love it. So you're going to have the octopus at the Dish Fest?
Octopus, yes. And then we're also going to have the bite size of the ají tuna tostada.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
That's also very popular here at a restaurant.
Yeah. Well, I saw other things on the menu as well. You got a Sonoran hot dog. There's a couple burgers, right? Like what all?
Tell them about the burgers.
The burgers is an actual ribeye steak. Like a quarter-inch of an actual ribeye steak. You can get either the regular burger, comes with cheese, and then a torito on the top. We have to have the toritos also.
Okay.
The torito, it's a yellow pepper stuffed with cheese and shrimp, and then wrapped in bacon.
Oh, dang.
Yes. And then we also have the surf and turf burger, which is the same burger but comes with shrimp.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Dang.
Yeah.
But it's not like your typical burger that's like this, right? It's like this, it almost looks like a torta, like a Mexican torta.
Yeah.
But it's like this steak inside. So good.
Yeah.
Dang. That sounds incredible.
Yeah. Like I said, I like to be different.
Yeah. I could tell.
It's one of my favorite things on the menu for sure.
Yeah.
It's just he has this garlic aioli that's on there, the arugula, the texture, the richness. It goes good with a lot of really, really good beers too. So it's
aren't you bringing a beer or beers to Dish Fest to complement the octopus? And what are you going to
You know,
bring?
I'm glad you asked that. We actually have this beer that we're really, really proud of internally, but we didn't know if people would really understand it because it's a little bit different, but it's a dark Mexican lager. So all of the people that I know that like Mexican lagers like the Negra Modelo or the darker, kind of style. So we weren't able to find many commercial examples. Like Bohemia Dark is my favorite. Like I love that so much. It's such a good beer, but it's hard to find outside of Mexico, and it's even hard to find in Arizona, and we're really close to Mexico. So it's kind of like one of those things where like necessity is the mother of invention. Like we wanted this beer in our lives and we can't find it, so we're going to make one.
Yeah.
And then you add that with his michelada mix that has like a little bit different spices than a lot of micheladas, but it goes so good with the amber lager. It's like the last 2 days in a row I've had it with the octopus tacos and the michelada, and it's like I'm not sorry at all. Not at all. And just a little squeeze of lime in there. It's really good. And then we wanted to bring some a little bit more creative stuff where, not that that's not creative enough, but we want to bring a frozen machine so we could serve margarita and Mexican agua fresca inspired seltzers, frozen, to go along with some of Enrique's food. So we know we're going against really good competition, so you have to bring out some gimmicks, bring out the bells and whistles for everybody, so we can stand out a little bit. But when it comes to creativity at fests like this, there's going to be a lot of people like, I don't know if they're going to be there, but like one of the chefs, this is something I really took to heart, Claudio from Paula, he told me, he's like, I just buy the best ingredients and try not to screw it up. And so I kind of have gotten that to a certain extent with stouts and with certain beers where you're like, man, this Rawaka's $28 a pound. And like, well, we better get some.
Yeah. Because it's the best, right?
Yeah. So, and
I
it's good to challenge yourself with expensive stuff like that, because it's, this is what all the top guys are using. This is what Other Half. This is what Green Cheek. This is what Beechwood. These are what all the big dogs are using. Highland Park. The list goes on. So to get to try some of those ingredients, it's like seeing a chef on one of these TV shows and be like, you know what? I want to try and make that dish, Yeah. So it's a lot of healthy competition and a lot of inspiration all over, from TVs, from movies, from television shows, a lot of different places. But we're always trying to do cutting edge, and that's what, we keep going back to me and Enrique's relationship. It's like, these are, I don't know, it's like a match made in heaven. I don't know if I'd really want to have food with anybody else, to be honest, because I like how, like, I didn't know what to think of the octopus tacos, because my dad's from Sweden, so I was eating seafood when I was a baby, mashed up in the little immersion blender, so herring and stuff. So I've always loved seafood, and as soon as I had it at the food truck when I believe I was at Flights. And I had that, and then I had the shrimp in the pepper. And I was like, damn, dude, this is going to be like next level. This is crazy, because I love Mariscos and I love like the cocktail Camarón and some of the stuff that he does. But man, it's just the hardest thing that I have when it's lunchtime for me is, what do I choose?
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Taco Tuesday, I know what to choose every time. Octopus tacos. But
he actually challenged me to do an octopus hot dog. And I made it. And, there's a few things that I can still work on, but it came out pretty good, right?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. And
that sounds like Dish Fest 2025
for sure.
To me.
For sure.
The tentacle dog was like, it was a sight to see, and just some of that like visually appealing stuff and putting ourselves out there. It's like, that's what's so cool about it is it's just natural, like we don't even need to really go out of our way to try it. Just kind of, sometimes you get the inspirato comes to you.
A real quick reminder to head to phoenixmag.com to get your tickets to the upcoming Phoenix Dish Fest. There's going to be tons of great samples from some of the top producers in the Valley, so head there now and we'll see you there.
All right, we're back. And honestly, I said we had to take a break because I needed to try one of these. As we're talking it up. Dude, fantastic. That's really, really good. I don't even know what to say.
We'll have more at Taste Fest, or what is it called?
Dish Fest.
Dish Fest, sorry. I always get messed up with those single word festivals.
A lot of fests. Yeah.
There are a taste,
so
a
we
dish.
we have Dish Fest and we have Best Fest, and I get those mixed up all the time.
Yeah. I personally like Dish Fest because it's all food and beverage.
Yeah.
Best Fest is everything.
Yeah.
Everything of best
A lot
of
of food and beverage, but also some other, really cool local companies.
Really cool
but-
stuff.
So
yeah.
where do you guys think the spot is to go at this fest? Where's the hangout? I mean,
at Dish Fest?
yeah, obviously besides Catalyst and
for sure.
For me,
and
the
and Salt.
outside food truck beer festival, like beer garden area, is my favorite because it's where all of my people are. But I mean, the lovely thing about Dish Fest is that no matter where you are, you're gonna taste the best food in Arizona, in Phoenix. You're gonna get the best beer. You're gonna get the best wine. You're gonna get the best of the best. And
the venue's beautiful
sensors.
too. I
Yeah.
went to the Sweet and Sour Fest from Fate there, and I was like, "Where is this?" And it was just like, "Oh, this is where it's at."
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I would say, Will, to answer your question, VIP section or VIP. For me, I always like going VIP because I like getting in early, right?
Yep.
If a place opens at noon, I'm there at 11:55 waiting in the parking lot, right? So if Dish Fest starts at noon, I want
11
to get there
for
at
VIP.
11
Yep.
for VIP, and you get some exclusive vendors, right?
Yeah. I mean, this year Shimogamo, Japanese Wagyu, Japanese
Yeah.
snow crab, and sashimi grade scallops, and a cocktail pairing. Like,
And live
that
music.
in and of itself, we'll have the same musician we had last year,
Okay,
who was
nice.
awesome. I know Arizona Stronghold Vineyards is going to have a general admission booth, and then they're going to bring some super special stuff to have at the VIP room.
Yeah.
Oh.
I believe Wefton Warp. I could be wrong about that. I think there's another food vendor. I can't remember who it is now that is going to also do the same thing. So they're going to have a secondary booth in the VIP space with something a little more special. And so that's what we're really trying to do is take that VIP space and kind of make it this like you can get really good stuff in general admission, but if you want like the extra special thing,
Yeah.
The people
You
that
gotta be
know
in-
get the VIP.
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
That
Yeah.
makes
If you want
sense.
to rub elbows with the elite,
yeah.
like myself. No, I'm just kidding.
and I mean, like, it's one thing that I really want to highlight for Dish Fest this year is the heavy hitters from the chef perspective this year. I mean, we have Chef Sammy D, who we talked about his experience. We have we're talking with a couple of others. I'm not going to say them right now because I don't want to. But we got Jennifer Caraway from the Joy Bus. I mean, we've had people who have, who are just the very top of the culinary scene in Arizona at this event, and we're going to do that again this year, and it's just going to continue. I mean, that's what we're aiming for. We cap this event at 800 people because the types of restaurants that participate are not usually able to handle the production capacity of a 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 person food festival.
Sure.
You go to Scottsdale Culinary Festival, great event, but I mean, you have the types of restaurants there that can handle producing food for an event that size.
Yeah.
Dish Fest is boutique. It's small. It's capped at 800 because the Casa Corazones, Cafe Les Guidi, these smaller restaurants that can't handle those larger events, but that are at the very top of the culinary scene in Arizona.
Yeah.
They're the ones that participate in Dish Fest, and like that's the thing that I want to highlight this year is that like you won't find a lot of these restaurants at any other festival.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like that though. I like that because you're leaving it open. It's not just like, hey man, if you can't prepare 2,000 samples or 4,000 samples, sorry, we can't have you.
Right.
It's quite the opposite where it's like we want you to be able, because we want people to get a true taste of like what is the best of the best, right? I like that. I like it. And it's experience based, right? You're not just trying to pack the doors and like, whatever, man, we got this check. Everybody paid their admission, and no, you want this. It's the third year, right? So you want this to continue on, and then superstars like Salt and Catalyst bringing their
Heavy hitters,
do,
man.
Trying,
Heavy
man.
hitters.
We're trying.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it. So, Dish Fest, when's the date, and where can people find tickets?
So March 17th is the event, the day of the event. VIP starts at 11. General admission starts at...
And that's St. Patty's Day, right? Or
It
am I
is.
off? Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man.
The event ends at 3, so plenty of time to go eat a
Post-game.
whole bunch of food and then head out into Old Town Scottsdale and do whatever you want to do.
Or come to Catalyst.
Or come to Catalyst.
There you go. Yeah.
So, March 17th. Tickets are phoenixmag.com/dishfest. You can find all the information, all of our vendors listed, everything like that there, and you can buy your tickets. We also have the chef dinners, which are the week leading up to Dish Fest, which is the Francine on Tuesday, Wefton Warp on Wednesday, and then Kimbara and Tia Carmen on Thursday. Those are $250 a head, but they are multi-course and include beverage pairings, chef demonstrations, everything like that. So really great way to spend the evening. Date nights. Thanks. Valentine's Day is coming up. So, and it's just going to be a whole week of really, really good quality culinary experiences.
I love it. Well, wrap this thing up. Will, thank you for the drinks. Enrique, thank you for the food.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the grand opening. Like I said, seems like you guys have been open for years, but that kind of puts things into perspective. And
not a lot of breweries have been open for 3 days officially and have 4 medals hanging off of their thing already. So
Yeah, well, we
we like front end work.
We like competition, so we now that we have our new brew set up and stuff, we're excited to see what comes at GABF and the next Arizona Beer Awards. So we're really looking forward to it and trying a lot of new styles that we maybe didn't or couldn't make in the past. So it's a fun time to be a beer drinker in Arizona, I think.
For sure.
Agreed.
Yeah. Since we are primarily beer drinkers, Eric and I, we can agree to that statement.
I just fake it. Like I'm like, oh, I do this and that. I'm like, I just drink beer. That's all I do. I eat food. It's what I do well. But no, thank you guys so much, Johan. You do a great job. You and your team, Matt and Amanda, just awesome people. Thanks, you, man. Guys, for allowing little old Taste of AZ to be part of your guys' lives.
Hey, you guys are part of the community. We love it. So thanks.
Awesome. All right, guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
We hope you all loved today's episode of the podcast. Phoenix Dish Fest is one of our favorite food events in the Valley, so make sure to get your tickets at phoenixmag.com.